Hey everyone, welcome into yet another rendition of 401 Sports Breaks. As always, I'm your host Patrick, coming to you live from 750 Yonge Street, our location here in downtown Toronto, Ontario, Canada. And we actually have two different personal breaks going on. I just heard back from Anthony. So I don't know, Anthony and Nick, we both have breaks for you. Anthony, we're probably going to end up starting with you first, as your break is pretty quick, and then we will move on to Nick's afterwards. So if I can just get some acknowledgement in the chat, I see 4 people are in here. I want to make sure that the 2 people that should be in here are in here, though, of course. At least in the meantime, though, as we wait for them, we could always talk a little bit of sports. Absolutely crazy game number 4. My prediction already wrong. I stuck to it. I really thought Tampa was going to pull it out and do the old down 2-0 4-game sweep. That's definitely not in the cards now. If they're going to win, it's going to have to be in 7. But man, Colorado just seems to have another gear. That overtime, Tampa Bay just got completely outplayed. It's totally outclassed in every way. It's a little bit ridiculous, to be honest. All right, Nick is in here for his break. All right, Anthony, I hope Anthony's here for his. If we can't get a hold of Anthony, then we're just going to have to skip him and go straight to you on yours. I wanted to get his out of the way first because it's just 2 boxes of, like 5 cards. By the way, Nick, I'm hope, while I have you, before we go into anything, I hope that you are aware when we do a break of something like the extended for a personal break, we do not ship the base cards. So you'll get all your inserts, your honor rolls, your dazzlers, everything like that, all the rookie cards. Just the base cards will be staying here. Let me know if you're fine with that. That's just typically the way that we break this for personal breaks. On the bright side, it does mean that I will sleeve everything for you. You won't have to worry about having your own top loaders on any of your young guns or any of your hits like that or your short prints. You'll be good on that. Meanwhile, come on, Anthony. I believe in him. Okay. You already have too many base cards? Alright, perfect. Works out for both of us, it sounds like. So I'm assuming that you've collected quite a bit of extended already. We actually someone did 2 boxes here the other day. I think actually literally yesterday on the extended hockey. And they did decently well. Got the same assortment twice though, which is kind of funny. I will die inside if you get the exact same young gun assortment as he did. All right, so I think we waited 5 minutes on Anthony. I think we'll just start straight with yours then. Yeah, that's fine. So we will start with yours. Here is your 1 box of extended hockey hobby. I know Anthony's around because we were in communication. He'll find his way here. You pulled the 05 tribute of Kirill and sold it. Wish you kept it. Oh man. Yeah, Kirill's a heck of a hockey player, isn't he? One of my favorites in the league to watch. It's great seeing Minnesota have a star talent like that now. So we're going to start off with the rookie class of Jason Robertson. So we'll set him off over there. Going through all the base. sticky. Oli Levy, Ultimate Victory rookie. Put him over there as well. No worries, Anthony. We're just going to do yours. Yours is so quick anyway. It's not a big deal. I just started with Nick's. That's all. So we did have the two of you, and I wanted to make sure that it got to both of you guys. So, Nick, how do you feel about the Stanley Cup Finals? Have you been following? I'm assuming you must have. Tyler Bertuzzi, Detroit Red Wings. First young gun is Alexei Hopeniemi, Florida Panthers. Well, good news is you don't have the same assortment as as Chris did yesterday, because he did not pull a Hopeniemi. So this box is going to be different. Glad to see that. Well, we'll see if that's actually a good thing or not. Lots of action, some good games. Yeah, no, for sure. It seems like the biggest issue Tampa is having is that when the games go deep, Colorado just seems to have more energy in the tank. So there's your Alexei Hopeniemi young gun, Florida Panthers. We're going to get ourselves a finite, SPX finite of Jack Hughes. He has turned into a really solid player. I'd love to see him surrounded with some more talent. And there we go. There's your SPX finite of Jack Hughes. Alright, so this will be a quarter of the way done your box. Also, just letting you guys know, I threw up another break on pre-order for a single box of SP as we come up on a clear cut of Derek Forbort. Yeah. It's actually crazy how much the current Colorado Avalanche reminded me of the Colorado Avalanche of the late 90s, early 2000s. With the exception of, obviously, they don't have Wall in net. But, you know, McKinnon's kind of like their Forsberg. Makar's kind of their Bork. I think you can make a... Rantanen's pretty all-around player. I think you can kind of compare him a little bit to Sakic, but not on that level. But, you know, very talented squad. Kadri kind of playing that Hayduk role with more points. Yanni Hankenpaw, rookie class. That was one of those discussions we were actually having yesterday on stream. I guess I'll ask you two guys, because you were not here. I'd like to pick your brains on it. Yeah, they do. I mean, Kemper, by the way, so we're coming to a checklist here. Some people do collect checklists. Do you want me to count this as a hit and put it into this pile over here with the other typical inserts? Because I will. Or we can treat it other way. If you want it to be treated as a base and you don't care, I can do that. But if you want it, I can set it aside. Like set your other checklist aside. But yeah, they definitely have closer to like a David Abisher or Peter Budai in that than you'll take the checklist. Perfect. As opposed to, oh, here we go. Gold ovation here of Mr. Josh Norris. Good player. Then a Patty Wall, that's for sure. There's no Patrick Wall walking through that crease. But to be fair, the way that they're playing, you don't need one. They've been dictating the pace of play so well. The question I was going to ask you guys actually was, so in topic of discussion with a couple people who were doing personal breaks yesterday, were teams of the decade. So when we bring up 1990s, who do you think the team of the 90s is? Because I think it's probably the hardest decade to pick like a defining franchise in. You got the Penguins dominated from 90, right? 2 cups, and then still last Eastern Conference appearance was, or conference final appearance was 96, and Lemieux, Francis, Yager, Barrasso. But then you have the Red Wings, first appearance, Braden Point, Lightning. First appearance in the Stanley Cup was 94-95, ended up winning 2 at the end. Colorado, 96 champion. It's the only one they got in that decade, but consistently great team. Then, of course, New Jersey. So I think there's 4 teams to really pick. And then somewhere in that mix is New York, who was consistently good but only got the 1 cup. Callum Booth, young gun. Yeah, so the homer in me wants to pick Pittsburgh. Like, if you put it on paper, I feel like the Penguins from 90 to 96, that's probably the strongest 6-year run in that decade. But the team that, even if they might be the best team of that era, technically, the team that pops in my mind for like moments is probably the Red Wings. I think Pittsburgh or Detroit are the only 2 answers that you could really sell me on. And even as a Penguins fan, I lean more slightly towards Detroit. Partly because the Penguins didn't have, one of the things that the Penguins didn't have during their run is like, the Flyers weren't particularly great. The Boston rivalry was okay, right? The whole Samuelson versus Neely sort of controversy that they had going on. But, Jean-Luc, Glenn Gadwin. Or Godin, sorry, Gadwin. Glenn Godin. But Colorado really amplified Detroit. This is when the Red Wings had the Russian 5, correct. Jean-Luc, Glenn Godin. God, that team was good. And you had a young Lidstrom, and you had Yzerman in his prime. Jake Oettinger in the ultimate victory. What a great series he had. Yeah, the brawls between them and Colorado. I think that's the most even rivalry maybe in hockey history. You know, as I talked about it yesterday, but when you look at those rosters, they really did almost match each other shot for shot, right? Yzerman and Sakic, very comparable. Fedorov and Forsberg, comparable. Alex Diorio, young gun, Pittsburgh Penguins. Goaltending, obviously, if we're comparing Osgood to Wall, it's Wall by a mile. But if we kick it up just a few years to 2002, then it's Hasek versus Wall, and how the hell do you pick? Then in terms of defensemen, right, Konstantinov or Bork or Lidstrom or Blake. Though I will say that I think was the biggest defining gap. I think the reason why during that era between, let's say, 96 to 2003, the reason why Detroit had 3 cups and Colorado had 2, I think it's just because Colorado didn't have a Lidstrom. Yeah, and you had Claude Lemieux, right? Claude Lemieux on one end, and then you had Darren McCarty. Everyone matched 1-for-1 on that team. Like, if there was a player on Detroit that was put there to counter a player on Colorado and vice versa. Ian Mitchell in the holographics. God, these cards are sticky. And of course, I talked about this yesterday as well, but you bring up Claude Lemieux. So my dad's best friend growing up was this hockey player by the name of Dino Ciccarelli. You might have heard of him. And he's got one of the most famous post-game scrums in the history of hockey because of Claude Lemieux. After Claude Lemieux broke... So we got an all-star here. All-star game of Matthew Barzal. He broke Chris Draper's face, essentially. Draper ended up having to eat through a straw. And after that, they ended up having a series. And, of course, you had the handshake line. Dino Ciccarelli said after shaking the hands, losing to Colorado in 96, "I can't believe I shook that frickin' guy's hand." You'll see that in like just about every SportsCenter top 10 now. When they talk about iconic hockey interviews, every so often, once a year, they run it, and I think that one usually ends number 1 or number 2 on the top 10 list. God, all these cards sticking together. Very annoying. There we go. We've got a Lankinen. So much gloss. Don't worry though, it doesn't look like anything's wrong with them. It's just sticky. They stick together when they're in the pack for more than a year. So how long have you been collecting, Nick? Patrick Kudarenko. Young gun for the New York Rangers. As long as he gets off of this. There we go. Awesome. Patrick Kudarenko. Just got back in a year ago? Yeah, the pandemic did that for a lot of people. You're bored, you're inside. You don't have anything to do. You start going through all of your old stuff. As we come up on reflections of Mr. Austin Matthews. I'm not entirely sure why I sleeved that up, but we'll send it anyway then. Alright. Come on. Alright, looks like we're going to have nothing in this one. Base pack. Always big sad getting the base pack. How many young guns are we at right now? Let's give a quick count. Got 1, 2, 3, and 4. So you should have 2, right? 2 more left. This is one of my favorite of the base cards. I love that shot of Comtois. Another base here, Forbert. Got your young gun here of Mikhail Maltsev. Boom, boom. Get him in a top loader here. Awesome. So we're looking for one last young gun, and maybe something short print would be nice. Give us something crazy. Oh man, hopefully this corner is indicative of what's behind it. Barkov here. Looks like it's going to be irrelevant either way. Mitch Marner, Ultimate Victory. Accept Holy Toledo Quality Control. Holy shit. Pardon my French, but, Upper Deck, why? Upper Deck, hello! Can we get you on the phone? So if you want, they probably wouldn't do anything about it, but I can send you the box if you want to make issue with that, because I would take issue with that. But I'm petty when it comes to these things. It's a card that's worth next to nothing, so they probably won't do anything about it, but it's the principle of the thing. Coming up on a holographics of Mr. Draisaitl. Leon Draisaitl. Holographics. Yeah, and they've got another exclusive contract with, It's funny because a lot of the Upper Deck cards, I like the look of the Upper Deck cards, but when they do them right, the Upper Deck feels really, really good. And our last Young Gun is going to be Hayden Verbeek. Montreal Canadiens. Guess that's the inherent risk we all take. I don't know what ticks me off more, though. Peeling corners of Upper Deck or tops with the print lines on the Chrome cards. Because I feel like those print lines are far more common than the quality control issues I get with Upper Deck. Both are awful, clearly. But I can't tell you how many times I've pulled packs of like decent cards from like Bowman Chrome, and then I see that damn scan line. And even when I pull like a nice card, I'm paranoid now. You know, I pulled I talked about it before that time I pulled a Lou Rod pink of 199. And I didn't even enjoy it immediately because I was so paranoid of just like, oh man, does it have a scan line? If I pulled a Riley Green Sparkle as well. So obviously someone IPC is a Tigers fan. He's doing really well, by the way, in his first week in baseball. But pulling that, I'm always terrified too. Anytime. So we are just going to quickly sleeve up these hits that won't go into top loaders. Sleeve them all together for easy shipping. Let's get a different, for some reason now this one doesn't seem very thick. Wow, that's brutal. Okay, so we'll get that. We'll get this one. Let me just top load this anyway, even though it already is wrecked. Okay, we'll set that aside. We got these guys. We'll set him aside. And now let's just go through quickly what your Young Guns, what your clear cuts, and what your other inserts that were worthy of being top loaded were. Okay, so leave the Young Guns to last. We're going to start from the top. First up, so this is for you, Nick. You received a finite SPX of Jack Hughes. And then you got yourself a clear cut of Derek Forbort, Winnipeg Jets. Josh Norris, Gold Ovation. Nice card, nice rookie. Your Young Guns, we got Patrick Kordorenko, Alex Diorio, Mikhail Maltsev, Hayden Verbeek, Alexei Hopeniemi, Callum Booth, and we got this Jean-Luc of Glenn Godden, Calgary Flames. So those were all of your major hits. We've got your other hits right here. I will sleeve these all up into the box. I'll have a set to the side of me, so it will come in a box about this big. And I will stuff this with packing material to make sure everything gets there all nice and safe. Not bad. Thanks for the break. No problem. Thanks for coming through. Appreciate it. Nice talking to you. I always like doing the personal breaks because it's a one-on-one sort of experience where you get to sit down, get to know the people that are buying our product a little bit better. It's always good to speak with all of you guys. Thanks for coming through, Nick. I hope you enjoyed it. Up next is you, Anthony. And you picked baseball. Son, you picked 2 boxes of Inception. I have 3 left. This is 1, this is 2, and this is 3. Which one do you want? Give me 2 numbers. 1, 2, and 3. Box 2 and 3 it is. Alright, so this bad boy goes back up on the shelf. And something tells me that since you bought that, I know Frankie is on our personal breaks like a hawk. I wouldn't be surprised if we snipe that last box from you. Depending on what's in here. Alright, let's go. Alright, now which one do you want to start with? Well, we'll get you super superstitious. 1 or 2? What's your lucky box? I'll get the knife ready. 1 left for Frankie. That's right. One. All right. Man, look at the consideration. How gentlemanly of you. Because you know Frankie would want one. It's very kind of you. Now we're going to start box number 1. Got our 1 pack here. We will be getting 7 Inception cards in here. This is a beautiful product. Alrighty. So, what I am going to do is I'm going to put the hits in the back. We'll do your base first. Starting off first, it's my favorite Tiger of the modern era, Miguel Cabrera in the base. Then we got Brandon Lau, Max Scherzer, Corbin Burns. Now we've got a purple, number 12 of 150, Freddie Freeman, Atlanta Braves. Number 12 of 150 on the Freddie. Bad boy slips in there. Get the 100 points out. Freddie Freeman, 12 of 150. Atlanta Braves. Next up in the green, it's Mookie Betts. Dodgers. Finally, your first autograph. Numbered 46 of 125 in the green. It's Reese Nur. Rookie card pitcher of the San Diego Padres. Box number 2 coming up. Good luck to you. That's true. Okay. So let's see. How many from the back do I need to go? Yes. That should do it. Starting off first, Manny Machado, San Diego Padres. We got the great Shohei Ohtani in base. DJ LeMahieu, New York Yankees. Kike Enrique Hernandez, Boston Red Sox. Oh, that's an autograph. We're going to put that autograph back there. I think I got a peek at who that is, and I might be jealous of you. Jazz Chisholm Jr. in the green. We got another green coming up right behind him. It's Alex Bregman. Who do we got in the red? It looked like a gray shirt. If I know my windups correctly, I think this is a Tiger. I could be wrong, but I think it is. It isn't. I am wrong. In fact, so far off the mark, it's hilarious. Thought for a second this was going to be Casey Mize. It ain't. It's actually going to be Trevor Rogers. Number 86 of 99 for the Miami Marlins. You have just received a Rookies and Emerging Stars autograph card. So you got two rookie/prospect cards here. Guess this would be, he would be a prospect then, right? Is he a prospect? Let me take a look. How long has he been in the league for? Hey, Gosh, welcome in. You just missed a couple of breaks that we were doing today. You're just catching the end of the stream, actually. Good to see you come in, though. 22, Trevor Rogers, huh? He's been in the league for 3 years. So year number 3. First year doesn't really count, I suppose, but he did play all of last year. Bad numbers this year, but actually pretty good career numbers, so. No problem. Take care. Have a great night. This is a fun set, though. Definitely love me some Topps Inception Baseball. Also, big shout out to everyone on Twitch, because I know quite a few of you guys are actually watching on Twitch. I see the followers are trending a little bit upwards on that, and appreciate you guys. I'll try and do some more Twitch integration stuff, because I don't have any of like the alerts or anything like that, and so I'll integrate some stuff into that too to give the stream a little bit more pizzazz. We do have another visual update coming to the stream. Hopefully, graphics department has it ready for me by next week, so the layout will look better than this. But we'll do a quick rundown for you as we sleeve up the two greens here, the Chisholm and the Bregman. Let's just take all of the colored cards. Hopefully I have more 100 points. But I know that this means you're going to be pretty curious about what Frankie has in that last box, if he does indeed indulge himself in it. I'm hella curious. Just need to get one more. We're one top loader short. You will be watching? I don't know if any of you guys saw it, but I will highlight it as well. Because I did check like other places, and we are the cheapest on the market for sure on this. I'll blast out some advertising too. But we are doing this bad boy as well. Just do want to show it off real quick. We are going to be doing a team random 8-box inner case of SP Authentic Hockey. 31 spot break, $100 per spot on the random team. Trust me, I've looked other places. There is no one that is matching us. I think the next closest is 110 per spot. So, as always, really good deals here at 401 Games, but you got called out, so yo, Frankie, were you here the whole time? Oh, he's lurking in the bushes. That's hilarious. Good to see you. How you doing tonight? We see you. We see you. Alright. So we'll do a quick rundown for you. We got all of the base cards, so you know what's in your base. Real quickly, before we move on to Frankie's stuff, here's what you've got, my friend. So, you have your Alex Bregman, your Jazz Chisholm, and your Mookie Betts all in green. We've got our number 86 of 99 Trevor Rogers autograph, our 46 of 125 Reese Nur autograph, and then we've got our number 12 of 150 on Mr. Freddie Freeman. So this will be set aside for you, Anthony, and I'll get those ready to be shipped. And Frankie, let me just confirm real quickly that that order is in, and as soon as I do, we're ripping this bad boy. Yeah, there it is. Alrighty. Let's do it. Here we go. We will put the hits in the back. It's a good rookie base that you're going to come across, though. Okay. We're going to start from the top. Chris Bryant in the base, followed by a rookie of Jaron Duran. So actually pretty nice base card to get. Ronald Acuna Jr., Tyler Glasnow. Our autograph, 112 of 125. This is a good player. Ryan Mountcastle for the Birds. Ryan Mountcastle, 112 of 125. You just see here with our sleeves. He's a solid player. I like Mountcastle a lot. Screams a guy that will probably one day end up on the Yankees, I imagine. Seems like that type of player. Ryan Mountcastle. Next up in the purple, 129 of 150. It's actually another rookie, which is nice. You're doing pretty well. Jackson Cower. Kansas City Royals. If it wants to get in the sleeve. But it doesn't. Let's get a different sleeve. In particular, Frankie, your cards want to be a pain in the butt. I'm not going to force them, obviously, so we'll just have to let them find their soulmate. There we go. We didn't like this thick sleeve, but we liked this one instead. Have you know, Anthony's were never this picky. There we go. Jackson Cower. And last but not least, this man has 500 home runs, over 3,000 hits, represents the city of Detroit, Michigan, by way of Venezuela. Miguel Cabrera in your green. Miggy in the green. Alright, so final rundown. We've got your base right here for you, Frankie. Alright, remember that's Glasnow, Acuna, Duran, and Bryant. In fact, let me sleeve up and top load the Duran because he is a sought after rookie. Not a bad box at all. And then we will quickly run down the other hits here. So, put the Moncastle on back. First, we got the Miguel Cabrera green card. Jackson Cower, rookie card, 129 of 150 in purple. And finally, Ryan Moncastle, 112 of 125 in the green autograph for Baltimore. Not bad. Not bad at all. I will have to ask the guys up in Vaughan to see if they can afford to send me more down. So you guys really seem to like this one for sure. So I'll try and get my hands on more of it. We will probably throw up some single box breaks of SP Authentic as well at some point. I did throw up a second single box break of SP Authentic, and just a reminder to everyone as well that we do have the inner case break put up. All of that stuff, we should be good to go on release day. We're 2 spots away from filling the first single box break, so I'm hoping that one fills so we can run at least something the day of release. But I did throw up a second one as well, in case you guys want to double up. You now have the option to. So let's just get these bad boys into some team bags. And we're about to come upon, if Tampa can't push this to Game 7, we are coming upon the slowest time of the year in sports. It will just be baseball in North America. And I guess golf, but I don't really sell golf. But you guys want to have golf product? We have a lot of SP Authentic golf. I don't know if there's any interest in putting that up on stream or not. But if there is, I will do it. Alright, so this is going to be Mr. Frankie's order. Frankie. C 401 675 257. Awesome. So I got yours all into it. Yeah, that's what I mean, right? It's not golf isn't my gig either. The cards are beautiful. I mean, it's what you would expect. It's SP authentic. It's nice. But golf it's a strange market for trading cards, I think. There's people that are in it that are exceptionally in it, though. It's got a big cult following. I'd be curious to see how far it goes down the line. Because, like, there was a while there where Formula 1 was very niche and no one bought it, really. And now it's like F1 stuff is crazy. Holy Toledo. I don't know if you guys have seen that market, but my God. We're in a time now where it feels like most of the cards are starting to come down a little bit from like their all-time highs. But not Formula 1. F1 did not get that memo, man. Jeez. It's crazy. Crazy. But I pretty much do the same as you, Anthony. I'm just baseball, hockey guy. No problem, Anthony. Thanks for coming by. Always great talking to you, my friend. Have a great night. After I sleeve these up, I'll probably wind the stream down as well, pending any changes. It is past 7 o'clock, man. Time flies, huh? Where do the days go? Alright, so overall, how do you feel about your break today, Frankie? Looks like you're pretty happy with it. Seems like a pretty strong box. Let's get this bad boy in there as well. Frankie should be all good to go now too, or I mean Anthony should be good to go now too. Let's get my big sleeves out. Can't complain. Yeah. No, it's been good so far. I'm surprised at how many of you guys, and I appreciate it obviously, but I'm surprised at how much the personal breaks have taken off. I've been getting a lot of them. It makes me happy. Obviously, it was one of those things that I kind of rallied for to try out, but I never expected you guys to take to them this much. It's great to see. Anthony B. Two, 6, 0. Awesome. And then our last one is going to be Nick. Alright. So I've got all your stuff. Well, I appreciate that, honestly. That means a lot, because that's kind of what I'm trying to bank on is that it's just been fun to be here and interact with you guys. Any way that we get to do more of that is good, in my opinion. You know? But honestly, the reason if you feel like it's entertaining speaking to me, I wouldn't be entertaining if you guys were not. So, well, let's call it a two-way street, right? We'll call it a two-way street for sure. It's mutual entertainment. You guys make the job fun. When the job is fun, then I can inject more fun into the job. It's hard to fake fun. If you guys didn't keep me, you know, sort of in tune, it definitely would not be entertaining. That's for sure. So it's a two-way street. That much I can tell you guys. I'm just a guy wearing a Tiger's hat every day behind a camera. there is no speaking without you. Alright, so we do have Nick's stuff now. He should be good to go. And then you guys will all be good to go. Just put in some of those packing peanuts. Has everything been shipping out to you okay, by the way? Or Penn's cap, or Hanshin Tiger's cap. Hanshin Tiger's cap for a while was the trademark, but me like an idiot last week, I went shopping at the Eaton Center with my girlfriend, and then, you know, you don't always want to stick around in the girls' clothing shops, so you wander around a bit, and my dumbass went into Lids. I saw this hat, and I'm like, am I going to drop $50 on a hat when I already have 15 hats? Yes, I think I am. I don't need another hat. But, God damn it, I'm going to get another hat. It's just the way that it is. Life decisions, man. Didn't even go to the mall thinking, hey, I need a hat. Just walked out with one. I'm like, oh God. I've got more hats than I can actually, than I actually wear. I don't know why. I should wear the other hats more in rotation, but I just always go back to the same few. Gotta get my Whalers hat back too. Yeah, so I'm very curious to see what happens with Lids going forward. They're Fanatics company, so I wonder what they're going to end up doing in the future. Because now they own the hats, they own the jerseys, and now they own everything that isn't hockey when it comes to trading cards. Including Topps, right? They bought Topps. So I'm kind of sitting there and I'm kind of curious to see what they're going to do, because the thing about Lids is they're all over the place. So, like, are we going to get to a point? I'm very curious to see if Lids is going to become a sports card shop. There's never been like any confirmation of it, but I don't see why you wouldn't do it. And ultimately, you know, I mean, like, in some regards, maybe it would hurt a business like ours. Though, mind you, we do have hockey, and they wouldn't have hockey. But, it would be interesting to see if they would try doing it. Because it just seems like such an obvious play, but I haven't heard anything. The first time that I heard about that deal for Topps, that was my first thought. Was, oh, well, I know they also own Lids, so they should just convert all of the Lids to sports card shops. But I haven't seen anything about that one way or the other. Yeah, it would, right? The only thing that I'm excited about when it comes to the Fanatics deal, so I was very fatalistic on it before when it first happened, because the initial impression, this is prior to them buying Topps, the initial impression they were giving off was, we want to try our own thing, right? We're going to do something different. Their CEO is saying, we're going to make sports cards a completely different type of hobby. And, like, that gave me a heart attack. Like, what do you mean? What are we talking about? Because you bought everything, you have no experience here in this field, and now you're saying you're going to change the whole thing. Of course, they ended up buying Topps. I think that brings a lot of stability because obviously Topps is still printing things like normal, and they're Fanatics owned now. It doesn't seem like anything has changed on that front. And from what I have seen slash heard, it appears that what the plan seems to be from like a product side of things, not a the distribution side of things, they're completely been in the dark about what their future is. So I don't know if they'll use lids, I don't know if they'll sell direct or whatever they're going to do. But the thing that for the product line of things, it seems like since they've acquired the NFL license, the NBA license, and the MLB license outright, including the players, first time ever that both of those, both the leagues and the players' unions, are exclusive. So they have a monopoly on the hobby, which who knows, that's its own discussion. That could be broken up in antitrust somewhere down the line eventually. But it seems to me, from what I've heard, it looks like Topps basketball and football will be coming back. So instead of getting Fanatics branded things like they initially sort of told us when they first bought the licensing, from what I have heard, it seems that instead we're just going to get the old Topps brands. When Topps lost the licensing to Panini, that stuff comes back. What happens to Panini? Man, I have no idea. See, like, it's one of those things I would love eventually. You know, we're trying to get more help here in sports because I'm the only guy running the section alongside with some help of a couple other people who aren't in sports. But, you know, I've got a lot of things, so other people keep an eye on the owner and stuff. But eventually the hope here is that one day I will be able to stream here for the whole shift. And I'd love to do like a video topic on that. The future of the industry. I feel like that's a discussion that needs to be had and that we could probably all have here. Because when it comes to Panini, I don't know where they go. The only licenses that they have going forward are... do they even have the WWE? They have the WWE license. They recently acquired it, but I don't know if they'll have it long term. They've got UFC, they've got WWE, they've got Contact Sports, and they've got NASCAR. I think that's the extent of what they have. Upper Deck has hockey and CFL. And then Fanatics is everything else. I mean, so like one of the other things that's interesting about this whole Fanatics ending up purchasing Topps was there was that brief period of time where Fanatics hadn't bought Topps out yet. And one of the plays that I thought Topps was going to make, and then they actually did make it, was they acquired exclusive rights to Nippon Professional Baseball, the Japanese league. But then those rights went to Fanatics as soon as they got bought out. So even like Topps was going after those alternative sports leagues to trying to buy out some avenues to try and stay alive. And when Fanatics purchased Topps, they also acquired all of those. So it's even for Panini, I don't know where they go because they can't even go into niche things. Even the niche licenses, Topps went after quite a few of them to try and stay afloat before getting bought out. Or now they're Fanatics. So if you're trying to buy Japanese baseball, it will be Fanatics. If you're trying to buy NFL, it's Fanatics. If you're trying to buy baseball, it's Fanatics. Basketball, Fanatics. I don't know. I don't know where you go. Because even in the basketball realm, Topps had acquired the rights to that new developmental league, the Overtime Elite League. So now it's also Fanatics. So I don't know. All the junior aspects. I guess the only way that they can go, and they do a lot of collegiate product, but for Panini, I guess they have to go all in on NCAA. That's the only thing they have. If they want to stay in baseball and they want to stay in football, that's the only route that they've got. In basketball. Because I don't think Fanatics has acquired the licensing to NCAA yet. So I think they can make collegiate, but it's just going to be collegiate. I don't know. Don't know. It's an interesting period of time. This is, we've seen a lot of volatile moments in sports cards, obviously. Most famously is going to be the junk wax era. But This, I think, is going to be the most monumental one. Because there's so much money in the hobby now. And yet we're about to go through this radical shift. And that's the other thing too, is like I could see from the Fanatics point of view, maybe you just don't rock the boat. You know, you acquire this, you're kind of already in a good thing. No. No, they don't. Upper Deck is at least going to be safe for the next 5 years, because they did get an extension on their exclusive license with NHL. But even they, I would say, like, I don't think that, I'll put it this way, I don't think Upper Deck is happy with just 5 years. If they lose hockey, that's the last line of defense in the hobby from Fanatics. And you know, Fanatics has 10 times the value that Topps did. Like, Topps didn't give away their properties; they literally just got outbid. I think what won the licensing for baseball, I believe Fanatics paid more money for exclusive rights to making baseball cards than the entire company of Topps is worth. Topps literally just couldn't compete. And Topps was the largest card producer in the market. So, you know, if they can outspend Topps' entire net worth, I would imagine Upper Deck is definitely in a tight spot there. The way that I look at it, it's more than likely the only reason why Upper Deck hasn't lost its license to Fanatics is just because Fanatics wasn't interested. If Fanatics gets interested, Fanatics can outbid anyone. How do we know if we're still in the junk wax era or not? It's a good question. Actually, I have to grab a couple more boxes. Give me 2 seconds, then I'm going to answer that. Alright. We're back. Okay. I think right now, this is an interesting point of conversation. I think what we might get, this is just my opinion, and I don't know, this is speculation. Do not take me for gospel, alright? I am not some soothsayer. I don't know all of the things. I can only kind of infer my opinion from what I have seen. My opinion on this matter is that essentially I think we're going to go through like a hybrid era. So, the way the products are made now, with all the short printing serial number stuff, I don't think we'll get into a junk wax era in that regard, right? And we'll probably never see a junk wax era to that degree with anything that's like that, because we've got the artificial scarcity. You know, the rarity is baked into the product. Where my concern is, as to like whether we will see another quote-unquote junk wax era, lies entirely in rookie cards, particularly in baseball. But in other sports as well. So like you bring up the point, a Young Guns value, right? Young Guns are short prints. You do get 6 of them in a box of 24 packs. But how rare a Young Gun is to market will just depend on how many Upper Deck produces. And that, therein lies kind of the issue, right? So like one of my glaring sort of alarm bells in terms of recent product that has me a little concerned is the 2022 Topps Series 1 Hobby Box, which I think is a good product, don't get me wrong. However, there are people that are spending money for base Wander Francos. But if you just buy yourself any retail box or a hanger box, or God forbid a hobby box, it almost feels like you're guaranteed to get him. But people are paying money for him. And this is against speculation on my part. But I think that product was being printed before the acquisition of Topps by Fanatics. So I think Topps just printed a ton of it. Because it was going to be the last... It was actually going to be the last Series 1 they ever printed at that point. So when I hit the printing press, I think they just were like, screw it. We need to make as much money as we can before the whole business goes under. And so, the ramifications of that is what, a lot of people are buying that card thinking it's going to be like the 2011 Trout update, which is a very valuable card. But it's not going to be that way because there's just so much of that card through the fact that a lot of that box is printed. So much of that card's going to be out in market. Eventually, that card's going to crash. But the thing is, the other cards from that set, if you got like a short print card, I don't think that those cards will be affected at all by that. So you're going to be in this sort of era, I think, where as we go further on and more product gets printed, I think base cards and base rookies are probably eventually going to look somewhat similar to the junk wax era, and it will be even more about the short prints than it already is. That's where I think it's going. But that's just my opinion on it. I could be entirely wrong. But it's like the same reason, like one of the things that good example in baseball as well is like, I think in a lot of ways the archives at 100, what is it, like 125 right now, or not archives, the heritage. That might be a better buy than the Series 1 if you're chasing after Francos. Give them boom for your buck. Because all the silvers and the blues are serial numbered. It's like, I imagine a silver Franco out of 673 in archive, or in heritage, is probably going to be harder to find than a silver / rainbow parallel of Franco in Topps Chrome, or in Topps Series 1, when all is said and done. And the market will probably reflect that. I've already seen some of those cards go for 500 US out of 673s. So I think the market might even be becoming aware of that itself. So, yes, they are, right? Like by the very virtue of how they are made, they are, because they're an insert. They're a 1 in every 4-pack insert, right? But the problem, so the game with that, right? The problem that you could potentially have. One second, I have to grab more things. So. Alright, I'm back. So, yeah, as I was saying, sorry, I just had to grab this to finish up your box here. Essentially, the only problem you might have with Young Guns and this is not to say that Upper Deck is doing it. It's just the inherent risk. Is it's not a numbered insert, right? So it's an insert. It is still going to be one every 4 packs, but you still, unlike a short printed card that is numbered, that's serial numbered, where it's just like we are only printing 99 or we are only printing 500 of this, right? Young Guns are still, like, as long as there is a print run of a product, Young Guns are still being printed. So I know that I forget which one it was. I want to say it was 2019-20. I had heard that the print run had continued for another year and a half or 2 years after initial release. Right? So each day, essentially, that goes by, more and more of those Young Guns hit the market, theoretically. And so, if a print run continues to go on and on and on and on, even if a Young Gun is short printed, which it's not a serial short print. So it will still be. There's no internal ceiling, I guess I should say, right? On how many of a player there is. So really, how valuable a Young Gun is still, it's still going to be very much a consequence of supply and demand. If Upper Deck ever got to a point where they printed too many boxes that there was more Young Guns of a particular player than there was like an outcry for those Young Guns, then that would cause problems. Whereas with like a short printed card that's like out of 125, you'll never worry about it because they only printed 125 of them. So that therein lies the risk. And it's a risk that is maybe very much real as you get closer to some of these companies losing their licenses. Because I think the temptation to not just try and cash in as much as you can on a product is probably pretty hard to ignore. So, like, essentially, I think non-serialized short prints are probably, depending on the year that you get them, they might be victim to junk wax-like tendencies. I don't think it will ever be that bad again. But I certainly think that there's more risk to that than just getting a card that, you know, is out of 99, is out of 10, out of 25, or whatever. Yeah. Now keep in mind, like, I'm not saying that these are things that will happen, right? It's just one of those things where it's worth thinking about. And then it's also, you know, you as a consumer, you want to be informed on these things. And as a collector as well. And that's why, like, you know, if you're getting this far into the hobby, I always think it's a good idea to see, like, every once in a while just brush up, see who's got what the licensing's like, who's deals coming up or whatever. Because the good news is that, like, you know, if you were collecting stuff from 2016, 17 or whatever, Young Guns, they're not printing those anymore. So, like, that stuff is going to be fine, right? But it's particularly certain years, certain products that I would give, like, a double take to. Like, I haven't bought any Series 2 this year, or Series 1 this year at all. I'm going to buy Series 2 baseball. I haven't bought any Series 1 for myself. And that might be the wrong play in the end, because I don't know everything. But I'm just going based off like what I have seen people rip open, what I have personally ripped open. You know, we've done a few top Series 1 stuff. I don't know how many Wanders we've gotten. But the amount of Wanders is leading me to believe that that's like a sell now card, you know? It's very common. Very common card. And that might mean down the line, right? Last year of Upper Deck, if it sounds like Upper Deck isn't going to get their hands on more NHL licensing, you know, you're a company that relies on that. It's not necessary. It's not for sure going to happen. It's not necessarily going to happen, but it's something you should always kind of keep in mind, right? Think about the print run because, like, okay, well, if they can never print a product again, then as a business, you want to make as much capital as you can, and the easiest and also dumbest way, to be fair, because you destroy a hobby in that regard, you destroy your product by overprinting it, but the easiest way to do it is to print as much as you can. That's one of those short-term sort of hustles. So I don't think right now that we're in any immediate risk. I don't think we'll have a full-on junk wax era. I do think we will likely at certain points. Yeah, I do think it's likely at certain points, so there will be particular products that will be toxic. If you kind of catch my drift. Like, I don't think... Junk wax era, everything was dead. I don't think it will ever be like that again. But there will be, like, products that I would say don't put all your eggs in one basket. If you look into circumstances. You know, like I would say, like, all the Fanatics stuff, I think Fanatics will be completely fine. I think Fanatics, like, as long as they allow tops, so that's my only concern with the acquisition, and it's everyone's concern with the acquisition, is we just don't know how tight of a ship they're going to run. Right, if they're trying to do their own thing, and, you know, maybe they can make some blunders, but if they let the guys at, like, if they kind of hand the reins over to the guys at Tops, the people who've already been doing this forever, you know, and they just kind of oversee and just make their cut from that, then I think that Tops products in the future are going to be probably completely fine. Because they're not going to be worrying about licensing for 15 years. So there's not going to be, unless they had some sort of weird direct order from Fanatics, if Fanatics knew absolutely nothing of what they're going to do, then I imagine that everything from, like, in the future, baseball, football, basketball, Tops, you have 15-year licenses on all these things. You're not rushing anything to the print run. You have the golden goose. So I think all that stuff, I really wouldn't be too afraid to go into it. Even like the Top Series 2 stuff right now, I think is completely fine because that was printed under Fanatics' watch. Right? I think it's particularly just in a bubble that Series 1 Tops might have been overproduced. You know. Other than that, I think that Tops products are probably completely fine. My next concern would just be where's Upper Deck in 5 years? You know? And so it's just one of those things where I think it's like, as a collector, if you just kind of get to know where the licenses are, how they're going to expire, you can kind of infer which things they might do that to. But the hobby itself, I like, if you're... I will put it this way, I wouldn't freak out about, like, Topps Inception collapsing. It's already a short printed set, you know? Or an SP Authentic, or anything like that. Your future watches are numbered in SP, so you should be completely fine in that regard, too. So, it's just one of those things, I think you just kind of have to pick your products, and you have to know which ones are more insulated than others. And, like, stuff like Young Guns, one of the things is I think that's just, like, an inherent risk that you take. To Upper Deck's credit, Upper Deck hasn't done anything to this point that would make me think that they would do anything like overprint. Like, they haven't done anything too egregious, as long as we ignore the 90s. New Upper Deck hasn't done anything like that. They've been very, very reliable. It's just one of those questions that if we get further along, if it looks like Fanatics is getting NHL, then it's something that should be considered, you know? But that's basically the crux of it. I wouldn't worry too much about the things that you have currently. If you got a lot of Series 1 hobby. Series 1 hobby for baseball or hockey? Because Series 1 hockey this year, you should be fine. Like Upper Deck just extended their license. They just extended their license. I want to say like 4 months ago. So I think their stuff right now is fine, right? They just extended their license. They don't have any reason. If they overprint anything, they will destroy themselves. It's in their best interest right now to print at a level that will keep the collectability of the card alive. It is only when they are in an absolute dire position that I get concerned. And Topps was in an absolute dire position when 2022 Series 1 was getting printed. Like, they were on the brink of death. They had already lost the license. That was one of the things that's like that was very scary about the Topps situation was Topps lost the license, but it wasn't an immediate license loss, right? Topps was going to be able to produce cards up until the end of 2022. So then the question just became at that point, well, the death clock is counting on you at that point. You still have all these commitments. You still have all of the license. You've got all of the, the printers and everything like that. You're only going to be able to make cards, all your classic cards, for one more year, and you know it. So what do? Right? Print a lot of it. What seems like an easy answer, and that's what I think Series 1, like what happened to Series 1. Then they got bought out by Fanatics, yada, yada, yada. The big question will be if the same thing happens to Upper Deck. Because if Upper Deck lost their license in negotiation and there was like 6 months between, Upper Deck losing their the ability to create cards, or God forbid a year or 2 years. Like let's say Upper Deck's license ran out in like 2030, okay? It's not the exact year, but let's say that is. And then Fanatics bought 2031 onward, and the year is 2028. I would be concerned up until the point that Upper Deck gets acquired by Fanatics. But if Upper Deck never gets acquired by Fanatics in such a hypothetical scenario, I don't think that it would be insane to think that they would just rush as much as they could to market. So, that's the catch-22 about this. Now that we have this big T-Rex of a company in, it's this underlying threat to all of the other guys. Upper Deck is literally going to be the only one standing in a major top 4 sport. It will just be Fanatics and Topps, or not Topps, and Upper Deck. Everything else is gone. So we're definitely in for a couple interesting years from the business side of the hobby, from the very top corporate side of the hobby. It's going to be very, very interesting. Ball is in Fanatics' court at the end of the day. It definitely seems like Fanatics could pretty much buy out the entire industry at this point. I don't think anyone could stop them. Alright, so your stuff is all ready for shipping, which means I am going to turn off the stream. It was great talking to you, Frankie. We're always happy to have you in. Big shout out to Nick and Anthony as well for your personal breaks as well. Always enjoy talking to all of you guys. Thanks for allowing me to do this. I really do appreciate it. We'll see you next time here at 401 Games on YouTube, 401 Sports Cards on Twitch. If you want to check out any more group breaks, guys, description below here on YouTube will give you a link to both our group breaks and our personal breaks, as well as all of the discount codes for our loyalty. Be sure to be using them when you are checking out with our breaks to save yourself 1%, 3%, or 5%, depending on which tier of membership you have with us. Well, that's everything for me tonight. 401 Games, this is Patrick, as always. I hope you guys have a great night. Hopefully, I'll be seeing you guys tomorrow with another break. Bye.